Hey, welcome to today's HVAC Insider Series Masterclass brought to you by Breezy, where we bring you the industry's most successful leaders to share innovative strategies for growing your HVAC business. My name is CJ Todd, and I'm your host. I've been in the HVAC industry in the business training space for the past 5 years, and I've been fortunate enough to work with thousands of contractors nationwide to really find the strategies and the systems to help them grow their businesses. And I'm joined by always as my guy, Sean Ritchie from Breezy. How's it going, Sean?
I'm doing great, CJ. How are you, man?
Doing great, man. Thanks for being here. So, Sean, you want to tell us a little bit more about Breezy?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I'm cracking up at these chats. Somebody's just rooting for Taylor Swift. Yeah, thanks everybody for joining. We're gonna keep rolling out this series. We've gotten a lot of great feedback that it's helpful. A lot of people have probably heard the Breezy spiel by now, but we're hard at work trying to create a service Titan alternative built specifically for HVAC, plumbing, and electric shops. Our mission is to eliminate the off season, right? I think a lot of people, there's an obvious shoulder season. And a lot of people kind of treat it like, hey, it's kind of our bum shoulder, right? It's just here to stay, and it's not ideal. But I think there's ways we can chip away at that together. So that's what we're going after. And we've built the platform in tandem with a lot of the industry's best, like Weldon Long, Gary Ellicks, Brandon Brown. We've gotten feedback from today's guest, Michael Johnson. So we're just trying to surround ourselves with people who are smarter than we are about how can you grow a great business here. And have that reflected in the software. So yeah, I guess, before we kick it over to Michael, I'd like to get a quick understanding, like, the last thing people probably want to hear is, oh, great, another CRM. But, it is helpful to understand, like, what current challenges are people facing with their software. Let's send out a quick poll here.
Yeah, it'd be great for everybody to participate in this poll just to understand kind of, what challenges you're experiencing. There's a lot of big players out there that claim that they're doing, everybody justice, and they're just not. So interested to see how you guys are feeling about it.
Yeah, Phil, that's a fair point. We should probably add no problems in here. 99 problems, but a CRM ain't one.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Cool. Well, yeah, if people want a demo, if people want to learn more, there's a QR code up right here. So feel free to grab some time. I can hop on those myself, and we'll just start a conversation. If we can't help, I'll try and point you in the right direction. But with that, CJ, I'll kick it over to you to introduce today's guest.
All right, awesome. I'm really looking forward to introducing today's guest. Someone who's dedicated his career to helping HVAC business owners achieve incredible success. And that's Michael Johnson. He's a U.S. Air Force veteran and seasoned HVAC business owner and nationally recognized industry coach. After serving in the Air Force, Michael took that structure, that discipline, that accountability that he learned, and really applied it to the HVAC industry to build his successful 7-figure business. And now he mentors over 30,000 skilled trades professionals. He's here today to share his proven strategies for scaling your HVAC business without spending a fortune. So there's going to be 7 low cost and no cost ways of doing just that. And these insights have helped countless business owners increase their profitability, optimize their operations, and create sustainable success. So Michael, thank you for being here, man. Thank you for your service, and we're really looking forward to hearing from you today.
All right, awesome. Yeah. So let's do it. I love you mentioned the coaching. It's always funny when I hear the business coaching because it started out me just helping people just because I love to do it, right? And so these last couple of years have really been a dream to be able to watch people's businesses grow because at the end of the day, they're family businesses, right? There's a family behind every business, and when a business grows, a family grows, and then when a family grows, a community grows. So it's awesome to see the people behind those businesses, which actually leads to today's webinar, which is we're going to be talking about 7 ways to scale your business without spending a fortune. And the reason why I love this, I'm so connected to this, is because this was my life. When I started my company 20 years ago, I didn't have a dime. So you talk about marketing without spending a dime. I didn't have a dime to spend. And when I started, my wife and I, we would actually dig through the couch cushions for money for groceries. This is how I started this. So I had to become very, very creative when it comes to actual marketing, how to get into the community, how to gain customers without having this huge marketing budget. And if you remember, for some of those out there, you can put in the chat. If you remember back in the day, there was no social media. There was half of this stuff didn't exist. The only thing we could do was go meet people and forge these relationships. And it's almost a lost art, which is good when people lose the art and you can do it because you're 9 times out of 10 going to be the only person doing creative marketing, right? So let's talk about this. All right, I talked a little bit about myself. I've been in business 20 years. I've scaled my business to 7 figures from, I say nothing because I didn't have a lot when I started. And I started it on a lot of grassroots marketing. And through those years, I've been doing business coaching. We've served as an advisor to a community of over 30,000 professionals. Some of you in the chat I've met before. And if I haven't, I'd love to meet you. I'll actually be down in Florida at a big AHR convention. So if you're at AHR, come and see me. All right. So let's talk about this. So over the years, some of my clients, I told you, I've watched them grow and have been able to collect some testimonials. And for me, testimonials, it's about the impact that we can have as a trade, right? So when I look at these, it's a dream to be able to watch and see, how much of an impact one tradesman can have on another tradesman just by sharing information that I've learned through the years. All right. So what you're going to learn in this webinar is, one, we're going to learn how to stop wasting money on ads, right? And I don't teach to not do ads, but I do believe in not wasting money on ads, because a lot of times, let's face it, when I talk to clients and we're talking about marketing and I mention Facebook ads or Google ads, and we'll say, well, I tried it, but it didn't work. But a lot of times we do these ads and we don't have the proper messaging, we don't have the proper branding, and we end up wasting money. But there's a way to do it and get a really, really good result. So the first thing we're going to learn, reason why this is important, is we're going to stop wasting money on ads. The second thing is we're going to learn how to build trust in our marketing so that the people actually call us. And I liken that to, a lot of the younger generation, some older generation, they're using dating apps. And on these dating apps, people are swiping left, I guess, if they don't like you. They're swiping right if they like you. I don't know. I've never been on one. But it's not enough if you're on that dating app to make a profile. You have to make that profile engaging, because do you care if a lot of potential partners see your profile, or do you care how many people click to connect? And the website and our brand is the same. Sometimes our website companies will say, oh, you got 20,000 people on the site, but then you on your end, you got no phone calls, right? So we're going to learn how to build trust so that when they interact with us, they actually convert, right? So, all right. So these are the 7 things that we're going to walk through today. And I really believe that you're going to see a couple of these. They may seem familiar right at the beginning, but I promise you, we're going to go deep into some stuff that you may have not heard of before. And a lot of these things through my 20 years, I've really dialed in to learn how to maximize these. So number 1, we're going to talk about social media, posting on social media, how to post there in a certain specific way to get local people to call your company, right? And to get them to convert into customers. Number 2, we're going to talk about grassroots marketing, which is my favorite type of marketing. Grassroots marketing, how to take a territory, right? I have a friend, I'm here right at Fort Liberty. It's the biggest military community in the United States. This is the home of the Special Forces. And what we do here in the Special Forces is we take down cities, we take governments. And if a military can take an entire government down, surely we can use the same strategy to take our city for our company. And I'm going to talk to you and show you exactly how that's done and how you can do that in your business. We're also going to talk about tapping into local networking, how to use BNI, how to use the Chamber of Commerce, how to network with people and to get those clients. We're also going to learn how to attract high-paying clients without ads, right? Because how many of us don't just want clients? We all know about those tire kickers. You know, you run Facebook ads or you post in Facebook groups and people call you and they're the cheapest people in the world. So we don't just want leads. We don't just want clients. We want high-paying clients that don't care as much about the price. They care more about the level of service. Those people that just say, fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it. There's a way to reach those. We're going to talk about referrals, how to turn your existing customer base into raving fans that refer you whenever they're in town, whether in Walmart, Target, at church, they're talking about you. There's a way to do that. All right. So let's get right into it. Okay. All right. So there's a lot of different ways to market your company. And when I talk to clients, one of my first things I usually ask is, what type of marketing are you doing? Right. So, and I believe there's a poll. I don't know if we're pulling it up here. Yeah. So go ahead and put in the chat, what are you doing currently for marketing? Are you doing social media? Are you doing ads? Put all of the things in there. Because one thing I notice is out of the 20 most basic forms of marketing for a company, we're typically seeing the same 4 over and over and over, right? So we've got some in there saying social media, some saying direct mail, right? But look at this. On this list here are 13 different types of ways to market your company. Now, what I've done on this slide is I've scratched out the ones that most people don't do, or that most people don't do correctly and effectively, right? So social media, organic, a lot of people are doing that these days. Direct mail, but not often targeted direct mail. And I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to show you how you can use direct mail highly targeted multiple times for less money than typical, right? Chamber of Commerce is a specific way that you can sort of infiltrate, quote unquote, the Chamber of Commerce. All right, so let's get into some of this. All right, I like to start out with social media posting tips. If you think about your community, if you talk about 5 Mile Famous, me and CJ were just talking about this earlier with Dan Antonelli. He talks about being 5 Mile Famous. Dan Antonelli actually did my brand. And there's something that he said that really stayed in my mind, and I can't forget about it, is if you go to Walmart and you interview 100 people and you ask them, let's say you're an HVAC company, and you say, hey, can you name 5 HVAC companies? How many of those 100 people in your town would name your company? So when I heard him say that, it was a webinar like this, I got really convicted, because I admit, if I ask 100 people in Walmart, they're not going to name me. There's a couple monsters in town that I know they'll at least name that one. And most of the time, you won't get people to name any company, because oftentimes we're not branded really well. For those of you, if you're in the chat, if you've ever had anyone do your roof in the past, you've ever had a roof replacement ever, put in there if you remember the name of the company that did your roof. Okay, so probably not going to name. Somebody says he doesn't want any clients who go to Walmart. Okay, yeah, that's your client avatar is not there.
Michael,
So
I did a study in grad school at Oracle Park, where the San Francisco Giants play, and we asked 300 people at the game who the sponsors of the Giants were. They could have looked around and said a couple of things. I mean, overwhelmingly, like 80% couldn't name one. So activations, being present in the marketplace, being loud and big and omnipresent, that's important.
it is important. And, you know, it's really, I went to a grocery store recently. I did a film, right? So sometimes I do films on the side. We kind of dabbled on that. I was a theater kid, and we had a scene at a grocery store in town, and the grocery store has been in town for 35 years. And I've been in this town for almost 30 years, and I have never heard of it. Never. And I told the lady, you know, the owner, she said, "You never heard of my store? It's been here 30 years." Because she assumes that presence in the market or longevity in the market means people know you. If you don't have a sticky brand, they don't know you. All right. So yeah, target clients. Hey, if that's your avatar, go for it. Okay. All right. So let's get right into social media. People are on social media, believe it or not, right? You go to anyone, go to church, go anywhere, go to Target, right? Go to Walmart, whatever your preferred store is, go to your friends, ask them to show you their screen time on their iPhone. Sometimes their screen time is 7 or 8 hours a day, believe it or not. The people who are barely using social media are 1 to 2 hours a day. That's still a lot of time. So the community is there, but there's a way to reach that community. And this is how I do it. Usually every 1 or 2 days, someone comes up to me personally. The name of my company is AC Man. You can see it right there. Usually someone yells out and they say, "AC Man," right? And I used to get really embarrassed about it, but that's proof that people are seeing me in the community, right? Which is why I started posting on social media. And there's a certain way you can do it, right? So when you're on social media, you want to put your homeowner hat on, right? Because if you have a contractor hat on, contractor mindset, and you post on social media, you won't get the results you want. And this is what I mean by that is my HVAC owner mind is I want clients. Right now it's February, it's a slow season. I want to sell maintenances. So I'm going to put that on social media. So then I put a video and it says, "Hey, we're doing maintenances this month for $150. Sign up below." That's not engaging with the homeowner who's on social media. What is the homeowner thinking when they're on social media? 9 times out of 10, they worked all day, they got off work, came home, played with the kids, talked to the spouse, got in the shower, and then by the time it's time to go to bed, they pull up their blanket and they pull up their phone and they want to veg out. They don't want to see your commercial, right? So you have to have a way that allows them to watch your videos or read your content and veg out at the same time. And this is how you do it. Number one, you talk about who you are. And what I mean by talk about who you are is not talk about your company, right? Who is your company, right? CJ introduced me as a 20-year HVAC owner and a veteran. I served 6 years in the Air Force. I could go and tell you more about myself. I'm really big into sports. I coached my son in basketball for many years. I volunteer at church. This is who I am, right? And you connect to people once you find out who they are. There's a powerful saying that says, it's hard to dislike someone once you know their story, because we connect to people based on their story. So if you look on this slide here, if you look me in front of my van or have my old branding, I tried to cover it up with Dan's new branding. This is before I rewrap my trucks with the new one. This is a Mother's Day post, right? So this is a post where I talked about my mother and how much my mother meant to me. This is connecting to people, right? Over here, you see it, taste it, smell it, right? On a social media post, you should be posting things that people can smell, right? Now it's a video, obviously you can't smell it, but you can show things and describe things in a way where people can see it, taste it, and smell it. And you see this video here got us a lot of jobs. There's 129,000 views on that video. Because look, right up front and center is a really dirty, nasty coil. That video starts out in the first 2 seconds. Does your HVAC coil look like this? If so, you're breathing in all that nasty stuff. Let me tell you how to change it. So automatically you can see it, you can taste it, you can smell it. All right, so let's see here. All right, so you see this video here up at the top where I'm spreading the dust? That's another see it, taste it, smell it. If you're talking about allergies for the HVAC people here in the group, if you're going to talk about allergies because you're selling indoor air quality, why not throw some dust in there? Because people who have allergies react to that, and they react to it very quickly. So this was an example of me posting I literally pulled a bunch of dust out of an old duct and said, look at this dust that's in there, and blew it all. And then you see lots of comments about people saying, man, I want to sneeze and I'm on my phone. That's not on accident, that's on purpose. You take a look at this video below, there's poop emojis on the air handler. Did anybody spot that? Why do I have
Those are chocolate ice cream emojis,
Are
Michael.
they really? They look like poop. So in this air handler, there was rat poop in there, right? So you never really, if you can show it, it's always better to show rather than tell. So I could stand up by myself and say, hey guys, I just want to educate you. My name is Michael Johnson. I own AC Man Heating and Air. First of all, they swiped past that already. Okay. Show them. All right. So see it, taste it, smell it. The video down there is one of my crew in a big warehouse where we're doing big jobs. That's a credibility post. If you have really big jobs, post those. That's just to kind of show credibility. All right. So we won't harp.
What you talked about too, Michael, that I think is worth pointing out is that they're scrolling past you if you lost them in the first 5 seconds. That's called your hook. You sprinkling the dust, like that's an emotional trigger. Like you want your hook to be emotional, to see it, taste it, smell it. And the other point is you don't want to lose them in the first part of your video, but you don't want to lose them at the end of your video either. You don't have to sell something at the end of every video. You don't have to say learn more. You don't have to say click here. You don't have to say schedule a call. Like you're building a brand, you're building, you know, your voice and your messaging out there. So when somebody does think they need it, you know, your help, then they know who you are.
100%, 100%. And in the swipe rate is really 1 second, right? So you have to catch them really quickly. And this is how I explain it to clients. If you guys can remember anything when it comes to posting social media, remember this. Get to the point. So this is how I explain it. If you're working on a unit and it caused a fire in a home and you want to show that, you're not going to start that video or the text. If it's a photo with text, you're not going to start it with, like I said, hey, I'm Michael Johnson. I own AC Man Heating and Air. We've been in business 20 years. Right now, I just want to show you this person's house caught on fire because of this. That's where you want to start that video, right there. You hit record or you start typing, this person's house caught on fire because of this. I'm going to show you. Now they have to stay and watch it. Okay? So, all right, let's move forward. Let's see. I see someone is writing about cookies in the chat. I don't know what that's about, making cookies on the heat exchanger. So that might be a good post there. Yeah, that would be interesting. All right, trends on social media. This video here where you see the outdoor unit, this is a video that we posted on social media just 2 weeks ago. You see it has 330,000 views on it. Why? Because an Arctic ice storm is trending. Everyone in your community, when there's a situation where every person in your community is dealing with the same exact thing, those are unique situations, right? It's not often where everyone in the community is dealing with one thing. When you have an Arctic storm, everyone's dealing with it. That's a sign that you have something trending. If it's 120 degrees, everyone is dealing with it. If there's a music festival in your town, everyone is dealing with it, whether it's because of the traffic or whatever. This is why this got so much views. So trends in your community. You know your community well, your marketing company doesn't, right? I'm in North Carolina. I don't know what's going on in CJ's business, you know, in his town. I can do SEO for him, but I can't do stuff like this, okay? So we leave the SEO to the experts. We let them do it. We pay them. They can handle that, but we can't blame them when we're not getting calls because it's not their job to do all of this. Okay. All right. Now, obviously, I'm standing in front of my van. You want to brand these videos as much as possible because what CJ said is you don't want to sell something in every video. So if I don't have the ability to sell something in every video, at least I can kind of subtly have that brand in the back, right? You ever see Michael Jordan on the court and then he's just drinking some Gatorade? We didn't say it. That's on purpose, okay? All right. So hopefully you get that. We go into really deeper dives in this in coaching sessions. We have about an hour and 15 minutes here, so I'm going to rush past this. If you have a question, put it in the chat. but also stay till the end because we're going to answer your questions live if you have one, right? Okay. These are some examples of some jobs that we did recently from the actual videos that we posted. Now, when we go to jobs, we ask, where did you hear about us? But we like to dig in a lot deeper when they say, oh, I saw you on TikTok or I saw you on YouTube. Then we'll ask, we'll book them. We don't do that on the phone, interviewing them, right? So we get the first lead source. Then when the technician goes and finishes the job, we say, hey, you mentioned you found us on YouTube. Can you tell us what video you watched? That way we can find out what types of videos are bringing in jobs. This video on the left here, I posted this video 2 years ago. Low budget, filmed it on my phone, was on a job site, grabbed some ducts and said, this is how you splice ductwork. 2 years ago, this cost me $0. Last month, we did $12,000 of duct work on that video at one person's house. Because the guy said he Googled how to splice his own duct, saw me, found out we were in Fayetteville, and just called. He said, I'll just let him do it. He looks like he's an expert. All right. This zone damper video, we made a couple $1,000s off of that. Asheville after Hurricane Helene. Guys, I just talked about this. If everyone is dealing with something in your community, you need to post about that. We got hit by a hurricane and it was bad. And it was all over the news. So we helped out with some hurricane relief, and I just filmed a video just saying, hey, we're out here. If you want to deliver water, there's the water station. This church is taking this church is taking this. And we made $6,000 off of that video from one client that said they saw it and said, hey, you guys do AC? I'm thinking about doing this. How much is the ROI on a video that's 2 minutes long that I filmed from my phone and uploaded on my computer? Cost me my time. How much is my time worth? Even if my time was worth $1,000, that's still a 6 times ROI. Okay, so you get it.
And that speaks volumes to the business case of social media, because a lot of owners, they don't have time. They don't think it pays dividends. They just don't do it. And like that is, you know, evidence that it actually does work.
Yeah, and it's not even the half of it. You know, I put 3 cases up there because I thought 3 looked good on a slide. I could have filled that thing with that. It's so, think about this. So many times when I talk about TikTok from owners, because we're blue collar workers, they typically say, Christopher said, what's ROI? That's the return on investment. So if you spend $1, you make $10, you have a 10 times return on investment, right? So when I talk about TikTok, owners typically say, TikTok, it's a bunch of dancing teenagers on there. Why would I want to be on there? That's not my demographic. You know, the average age of TikTok is 40 years old, right? So who holds the wealth in the United States? Most of the people in the chat are from the United States. Number 1, baby boomers. They hold the wealth in the United States. After baby boomers is Gen X. These are the people in their mid 40s, right? 50 and down. And then millennials. Millennials are in their 40s now. These are the homeowners. These are the money makers. And they're on TikTok. So if you want to stay off TikTok because you think it's a bunch of kids, I'm happy if you're in my town, right? So stay off of it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Okay. No, but TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, this is money. It's real money. All right. Especially YouTube, because Google owns YouTube. So we spend a lot of time on search engine optimization and we post blogs. But if you're posting a video on YouTube, you're literally putting content on Google. And YouTube allows you to tag the location of the video. You think they're doing that on accident? No, they want to target people in your town, right? Okay, so, all right, let's go here. This is my favorite thing to talk about, right? So I pulled this image off of Google. I don't know what these little images are in here, but this is called a social network analysis. Very, very powerful stuff. This is how a team of soldiers, 10 or 15 guys, can take an entire government down from a country by doing this. This is exactly how it works. And I'll describe this to you. So you see there's little nodules everywhere. These are called nodules. If you look to the outside. I don't know if you guys can see my pointer. CJ, can they see my pointer on the screen?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can.
Okay. So you see my pointer here. See this guy? Let's look at every one of these nodules as a customer. Typically, we try to target one-off customers, right? By doing ads, and we try to get a customer. Let's say we reach this guy here. This guy is only connected to one person. So the only person he can influence is him. I want that customer, but I really want the customer that's connected to everyone. That's who we have to go after. And this is how you take a town. You find out what are the key people or the key organizations that is touching everyone. And to go back to whoever, the guy that joked on Walmart, everyone in your community goes to Walmart, right? Like it or not, or everyone goes to Target. So these are the places that we want to sort of attract. Okay, so we're not talking about Walmart today. It was just an example. But what if this individual here is another tradesman in your town? And think about this. This is the low-hanging fruit. I have in my database 6,000 customers, right? So if I go into my CRM, there's 6,000 customers in there, 6,000 people. I'm an HVAC company. Now, if you're a plumber, I don't do plumbing, wouldn't you want access to a person who has access to 6,000 people? So reaching out to other tradesmen is one of the most powerful things that you can possibly do, right? So we need to kind of get out of the house. Somebody said, good marketing is leave your house. Get out of your house, find some tradesmen. If you don't have a partner, if you're, let's say you're an HVAC. If you're an HVAC company and you don't have a partner plumber, a partner electrician, a partner pest control, a partner landscaper, then you can 10x your marketing if you just find that. And this is how it works. I have my 6,000 customer list, right? So they already like me, they know me, they trust me. I've paid for those customers. I paid my blood, sweat, and tears and time and going to networking meetings. I paid money to acquire them on ads, and I've served them. And some of them I've served them 5 years, 10 years. So when I'm in their house working on their AC and they say, hey, we need to do some electrical work. Do you know someone? And I say, yeah, I know a good electrician, CJ. Do you think they're ever going to Google electricians near me? Never, never. So there's a whole group of people that you can't even reach. So once I refer CJ, and then when CJ comes in, if he's the electrician, do you think they care about his price? No, right? So we need to find these organizations, other tradespeople or community organizations that are touching multiple people, and then go into those organizations, make friends, and then you'll start to see them grow, okay?
As soon as I get off this call, I'm going to go start an electrical company now that I have that stellar review from Michael.
Yes, 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 definitely. And hopefully it helps you. It doesn't hurt you, right? All right. Okay, so this is an example here I talked about. There's a reason why. So we got a politician on the right. I don't know who this is. I don't know if he's a real politician or not. I downloaded this stock image. We have a soldier on the left. So in the age of social media and digital age, there's a reason why when presidents run for office or mayor, these guys are flying constantly. They're visiting hundreds of cities. I mean, they're going to the city, meeting, shaking hands. These presidential campaigns, these governor campaigns, they have tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to campaign. Why are they flying around and meeting people and going from city to city and shaking hands and kissing babies if they have hundreds of millions? Because it works, right? If it didn't work, they would be home just running ads. But you can't take a town, you can't take a territory by running ads. You have to meet people, right? So if they have hundreds of millions of dollars and they're still doing it, and we have thousands of dollars or tens of thousands for marketing and we're not doing it, you're not going to win like that. Okay. All right. Here are some examples of some things that I like to do. So on the left here, this is an actual post from a fellow tradesman in my town. His name is Paul, awesome guy. He owns a home inspection company. You can see that on the slide. I came into his business. He asked me, I came into his business, trained all of his inspectors on what to look for when you're inspecting a house. Obviously, they don't put gauges on, but they said, hey, anything that we can kind of notice to tell the homeowner. So I trained all of them. Now, count how many people are in that photo. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 6 home inspectors that are doing 2 inspections a day, every day, all year. Now, do you think that I come in and I shook hands and met them and offered them advice? When they're there and they find certain things and they put it on their report and a homeowner says, oh man, do you know any good HVAC person? I have 6 people out there already. Now, do you think when I'm in a home and someone says, I'm selling my house, do you know a good inspector? I'm going to send it to him. That's a powerful, powerful relationship. Don't wait for someone to ask you to come in and do this, right? Call the inspection companies in your town. Say, hey, I'd like to come in and do some training and also get some of your business cards because people are asking me all the time. They're not going to say no to that. Get in there, meet people. Call a plumber. Hey, my name is such and such. I own this HVAC company in town. We don't do plumbing, but man, I'm always under a house and I want to serve my customers. So when I see leaks, I'd like to refer them to you. Can we meet up and I can get a bunch of your cards and maybe I can give you some of my cards? They're not going to say no to that. So you're getting these free referrals back and forth. Very, very powerful. So take a look over here on the right. This is a local technical college. I come into the local technical college and speak to the students. A local technical college touches a lot of people. A lot of people come through there, right? So shake those hands, get the photo opportunity and put it on your social media also. Okay, helps with recruiting. These are just some quick things. I think you guys get it. I'm going to run through this. Is on the right, it's a wonderful organization that we support, that we believe in, and giving back. If you're not giving back, what are you honestly doing right in your community? So find a community to give back to, and then put that on your flyers. You can see my flyer on the left. That's an estimate leave behind. When we give estimates, if we don't close at the table, we leave that brochure, and we put that organization there and show that we give back. Very powerful. So you have a way to give to your community and get clients from it. And the more clients you get, the more you can give, and the more you give, you can get. So you get it. All right. All right, let's run through this here. We're going to go probably at a high level because I want to make sure I have time to answer you guys' questions. We're going to do a live Q&A. CJ's going to end up taking the questions and we're going to answer it. So I'm going to run through this. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Direct mail. Direct mail is 99.99% of the time done incorrectly. If you look at the left here, the left top, this is a map of my clients, right? So it's a map of the clients I serve. This is a huge area in my town. Typically, when people do direct mail, they'll buy a list of 2,000 addresses and they'll mail it. It's $1 a piece. They spend $2,000, right? This says 3,600. This was an example. If you look on the left, the bottom left, I circled a neighborhood in my town where my trucks are always. So I found this really high dense place. I say, we're serving that neighborhood all the time, so they see all my trucks. I want to send postcards there. So I circled it. There were 3,600 homes there. If I mail to those 3,600 homes one time, it's going to cost me $3,600. But why blast it out like that? No, marketing doesn't work when you hit people one time. Instead, you can use tools to take that same neighborhood. If you look on the right, I took those 36 homes and narrowed them down to 104 homes. These are people over 50 years old who make at least $140,000. So it eliminated all the people and left me with 104. I can hit 100 of those people 6 times. I can send a postcard every 2 weeks or a postcard a month for 6 months and hit 100 people on the higher income, you know, the baby boomers, for $600 hitting higher end people 6 times, or I can waste my money and spend $3,600 and hit a bunch of random people one time. This is how you bring your budget down, all right?
Michael, how did you decide on those parameters?
My customer avatar. So you have to know who your customer avatar is. Our customer avatar is obviously homeowners, right? And everyone in the chat is different. There's going to be some commercial people here. So I want homeowners. I want you over 36 years old. I want you making over 160,000. And this is how we did it. There's a book by Mike Michalowicz called Pumpkin Plan. And he talks about customers, he calls them crush and cringe. And this is something you guys can do on your own time. Write down your top 10 customers that when you hear their name, you just say, oh man, I wish I had more of these guys. Write those 10, and then write down the 10 customers that you say, when you hear their name, you wish they would just disappear. Those are your worst customers, right? Find out what is the average. So for me, the top 10 customers I loved, they were all over 60 years old. They were all in a certain demographic, all of them, which told me I need to reach that group. So that's how I did it. Did that answer your question, Sean?
What was the name of that book, Michael? I'll put a link in the chat.
The Pumpkin Plan by Mike Michalowicz. I actually have it right on my bookshelf.
Yeah, that answers it. That's really helpful.
Yeah.
I'll drop in the chat, by the way, Michael, maybe you have a recommendation on this, but we've got a third-party data company that can help segment markets like that. So happy to make an intro for anyone interested.
Amazing. Yeah, you guys can get with the Breezy guys on that if you have any questions about something like that, or during the Q&A. I'm actually going to wrap this up because we want to have time for Q&A. So we'll breeze through this really quickly. All of this none of it really works if you don't have a really powerful brand story. All right. And this is an exercise I want everyone to do sometime this week, right? This slide is an example. This is an exercise that I do. Write down your company story and then strike out or erase everything that every other company in your town does or says, right? If you're left with nothing, you have a weak brand. And a brand without a story is a commodity. So you see here, I put, my name is Michael Johnson. I own such and such heating and air. We're reliable. We have a lot of 5-star reviews. We're dependable. We do good quality work. Every company says that. So without that, what do I have left? Nothing. That's the beginning of learning how to write your brand story. So start to write down things that other people cannot say. Do you volunteer as a firefighter? Do you give back to this organization? Do you like to do this? Starts to make your brand really sticky. All right. Okay, referrals. Let's see if I can kind of condense this a little bit. Your customer list is the most powerful thing that you have. It's absolutely the most incredible. These are customers that already have proven that they want to hire you, that they like you and they trust you. They already hired you. Reaching out to them or getting them to refer brings in leads. Why pay Google $50 a lead and someone clicks on it, they don't know you, they call you and they're just calling around? I can pay one of my customers $50 a lead and get a direct referral. When someone's at church and Miss Smith knows I'm going to get $50 if I refer, it motivates her a little. And someone says, hey, my AC is out. Do you know anyone? Oh yeah, call this company. They're not going to call around because they love Mrs. Smith. She's wonderful. And she used us. And I'm not giving Google $50 and they're just, who knows what, they're just billionaires. I'm giving Miss Smith $50 and she can use that in this economy to get groceries. So it's a win-win, right? And we can talk about different types of referral campaigns. Consistency through tracking. Guys, the last thing we want to do is do this when it's slow. And then in the summertime, we're super busy, we're doing jobs. And then fall comes and we're not busy again because we stopped marketing. So you have to find a way to make it consistent. And you do that by segmenting your audience. So we have a client list in your CRM. If you're using Breezy or whatever you're using, you need to make sure that you separate each customer. These are the customers that I did new installs on. These are the customers that are on service plans. These are open estimates. I'm going to send a different text message to someone who hasn't closed an estimate than the person who I installed their unit last month. You can't blast this out, right? That's not effective. So you have to take some time to find a way to tag your customers in your list so you know who to send what messages to. All right. And this is an example of a campaign. I won't get into this. If you want to book a demo on coaching, we'll get into something like this. But so guys, your CRM, you have to have a CRM that's doing some sort of marketing automations. If you don't have that, you're going to struggle on a lot of this stuff because you don't have time. I can't text 6,000 people, right? That's a waste of time. But if you have a CRM, you can plug it in and say, text these 500 people, remind them of their maintenance. Text these 900 people that I did an install on, right? So, CJ, did you have something on that?
Yeah, I just want to take a quick second to launch a poll and let everybody know that Breezy is here to help you grow. I see Ed in the chat said your CRM is your gold, and I totally agree with that. And Breezy's, we're hard at work creating, the solutions that HVAC businesses really need and really use. Sean, you want to add any color to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it all starts with having a great strategy for your business. And I think what Michael is, not to be reductive, right? But like Michael clearly is just very deliberate about everything he does. So software can only get you so far. I think we like to start and, kind of have that high level conversation about who are we targeting? How are we going after them? How do we build that large, loyal customer base? So, and then software backs it up, but like it's not going to do all the work for you. So yeah, that's why you kind of have to combine it with like smart consultative people like Michael. But I think what good software does is automate tasks that can be done more efficiently and then just like reinforce good behaviors. So that's how we think about it.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Well, once you get your messaging dialed in, for example, if we go back here, let's see if I can find. Once you get your message dialed in like this, you have your day one text that you write it out, the text you're going to send the next day, the text you're going to send the next day. You have to write that out. You have to figure that out. Then you can plug that into the software and say, do it, and hit that button, right? So what I do is I write messages out for weeks at a time. It takes me a couple hours to write them out. I go in the software and I say, send this on day one, send this on day two, send this on day 3, send this on day 4. I hit boom, I'm done. And for a week or 2 weeks, they're automatically getting sent. All right, let's see what we have here. Okay, and obviously you want to create a system to do that. So that is probably months worth of marketing and we can go into in a short 1 hour. So hopefully you got something out of that. And I think, CJ, what do we have?
I want to just recommend that, everybody on here, if you're looking to, learn more about these 7 low cost, no cost strategies, if you want to see how Michael can help you out with some of this and implementing this into your business, he is offering a free 30-minute consultation. He's just going to go over all of this stuff with you, learn exactly, your custom, your unique challenges, see how he can really, implement a strategy that can help you grow in your marketplace. It can help you take your town, can help you just become that HVAC business that people recognize when they're walking through Walmart or Target and thinking, man, I like myself, I got a 20-year-old system. So if anybody's in the Sacramento area and wants a client, hit me up because I think mine's going to fail any day now. I really don't want to go into the, 115-degree summer with no heat, no cool situation. So yeah, hit me up, but definitely, hit Michael up. I'll drop a link in the chat to schedule a demo with him. And I want to jump in now to the Q&A session because I think that there is some really good information that we can share with you guys.
Yeah, let's do it. What are the questions?
Cool. I think the biggest question that I've seen come in and that I have is like, which one of these 7 points should somebody focus on first?
I would, here, actually, I can show you here. So the number one thing I would do is segment your audience, right? Segment, come up with whatever word you want to come up with it, but find a way to find out who is who in your customer base, right? Because the low-hanging fruit is there. If there's people that did a maintenance, if you're not tracking your maintenances, or let's say you had one-time services, they're not on the service plan, and you haven't had a maintenance in the last 6 months or 12 months, you can go in and find out, oh, these are all the people that have done a maintenance in the past. So if I can find 200 people that I've done a maintenance at any point, there's a pretty good chance a good amount of them are going to convert and get jobs right now. So it gives you ability to target people very, very quickly. For example, realtors, if you know who the realtors are, you can text out a message, say, hey, this week we're giving $25 for anyone you refer. You know, realtors love commissions. They work off of commissions. So number one, I would say segment your audience. And then number two, start messaging them, because the gold is in your customer list. You don't have to have a 3-day thing. This is something I do just to get money now, but once a week for 3 weeks is typically what I do.
Awesome. This is going to be a question for Sean. Maybe you could come on real quick and we could have a chat together. Let's see. Is that included with the base Breezy account? Is there bulk texting? Is there bulk texting within the Breezy offering?
I don't know what is that included. Maybe if that's the third-party data, I basically set up a preferential partnership with that company, Giant Partners. So we can kind of slice and dice your local market. We give them like zip codes with a radius and an income level. It's almost a creepy amount of consumer data, if I'm honest, but it is effective. You can even say like, do they have a senior living in the home, right? Do they have allergies, pets, things like that? So you can do targeted drip campaigns. But to Michael's point, none of that really matters unless you have the avatar. Right. So yeah, we have discounted rates with all that stuff. And then as part of onboarding, we help people slice up their existing customer base. Because that's some low-hanging fruit too, is like, re-engage people who are not on service agreements, right? Like they're already familiar with your company. They already have a good impression. So that's the kind of stuff we like to tackle.
For sure. Michael, do you find it beneficial or, accessible to target like the age of a home in that direct mail campaign? Does that pay any dividends?
I don't personally, but I do know people that do that, right? Because it would be powerful if a neighborhood is 10 years old. If you don't have a lot of data, if you're a company that's been in business for a long time, I can go in and actually see what neighborhoods are we doing big installs, big jobs, and I'm just going to target that because it's proof. But if you don't have a lot of data, then you can say, yeah, I want to hit this neighborhood that's 15 years old or 10 years old. Yeah, 100%. That's a good idea.
Right. This is a message from Tammy. How often should you do social media? Weekly, monthly? What do you recommend?
I think you should post every day, right? Now that may be a little overwhelming for people that are starting, right? Just like if I coach kids in basketball, I say, hey, you start what you can do. Just dribble with your right hand. That's your strong hand for now. But what you can do is you can take maybe 5 or 6 photos and then post those out once a week to start, and then start doing twice a week, and then start doing 3 times a week. But if you can post every day, that will be the ultimate goal.
Love that. Yeah, another kind of example that I've used with some HVAC business owners is sharing the 5-star customer reviews through Google or through Facebook as posts, or maybe like a video post.
That's a good one.
And I know that there's automations that exist that can help push, those Google reviews out into social media posts.
Yeah, because you don't have to do a video every day. I'm not saying that. It's just you have something going every day. But actually, if you're posting every day, make sure it's not a sale. If you're asking for something every day, you're going to turn people off. So you want to ask for something rarely. So you want to give, ask. Give, ask.
Avoid that transactional feel.
Yes.
Yeah, I like
100%.
that.
Can you
And to
talk?
answer, sorry to cut you off, CJ, and to
No
answer
worries.
your question, were you asking about maybe the cost of data? Was it included? Basically, it comes out to like 5 to 10 cents per contact in your area. And we usually like to include 1,000 of those for new clients. So but it's not like, oh, all you can eat included in Breezy. And you can work with them without working with us too. I'm happy to make that intro. Michael, I was curious, forget Breezy. There's always like good partners to work with in the industry that can augment these efforts. If you had to give one recommendation, right? One tool, one company that you think is instrumental or really valuable, who would it be?
I would say currently we're using Chirp. That would be my number one. It would be absolutely my number one. Just on the pure fact that I can schedule out an insane amount of content. You see my day one, day two, day three slide that I had on earlier, that who said Tommy is the man. I think he's part of Chirp. I've been on Chirp for 2 years. So it's just an incredible, incredible thing. And then for the postcards, I use a company called Dope Marketing, because everything needs to be automated. You know, if I can just spend 4 hours setting everything up and it's set for a whole year, or I have 3 or 4 year campaigns that I set up last year and I never have to touch it again.
Absolutely. Dope absolutely lives up to their namesake for sure.
Yeah.
Can you talk about I think it's the network of influence that you brought up earlier. How do you target those nodes that reach a lot of different people? Or what's your strategy?
Okay, so the first thing you can do is go to the networking meetings, Chamber of Commerce. All right, so if you go to the Chamber of Commerce, they're already meeting there a lot. Those are all of the plumbers, electricians, photographers, videographers, restaurants, they're all there. And those are people, if they're going to Chamber of Commerce meetings, they're serious about growing their business. So they're going to understand when you approach them and you say, hey, I'd like to share referrals. They already know that. You don't have to try to teach them. So I would say go there. But then when you go there, go with the mindset that I'm going to take this relationship outside of this meeting. I'm not just going to see, for example, CJ, you were the electrician a minute ago, right? So I'm not just going to see CJ once a month at the meeting. My goal is to go to this meeting and then have a relationship with CJ that we have once a week. I'm texting him every other day, that sort of thing.
Yeah, great advice. It looks like we're up on the hour, and I want to be, mindful of everyone's time. Thank you for joining us. Is there anything that you want to leave people with, Michael?
I would say if you have a question for me, I like to give back. If you have a question for me, find me on social media. Michael James Johnson HVAC. Google that. You'll find me somewhere. DM me. I'll talk to you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today, Michael.
Yeah,
Yep,
thanks,
no
Michael.
problem. Yep.
So I just want to leave everyone with a final note. Our next guest is going to be Danielle Putnam from the new Flat Rate. And obviously pricing can, make or break your HVAC business. And if you've ever struggled with that, then you're going to want to tune in. It's going to be February 20th at 3 p.m. East. And, Danielle and I served together on the EGIA Foundation board for a few years. And it's really hard to find someone more dedicated to growing the industry than Danielle. So I'm really looking forward to it. Sean, how you feeling?
I mean, Danielle's awesome. I met her at Service World. What was that, back in October? Just genuinely seems to care. And I feel like across the board, I probably talk to 3 to 4 pros a day from our existing customers, sales conversations, whatever. And I think most people almost almost feel guilty. They're like, yeah, we don't really update our price book that frequently. So she's got a great way of like looking at optimizing pricing. I think it's one of those underutilized levers in growing a business, right? So I think she'll be really valuable.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we're going to leave you with a QR code to scan. You can sign up for that event for free. So thank you so much for joining us today. Can't wait to see you next time.
Thanks, everybody. Send us some feedback too.
Yeah, there's going to be a post-event survey if you wouldn't mind participating in that. That'd be very helpful for bringing on more guests in the future.
Yeah, exactly. You know, specific people you'd like us to target, topics that are top of mind, like we're ever, you know, kind of ever evolving this. So whatever you can share, very helpful.
Yep. Cheers all.
See ya.